Part 11 of the Bedrogfontein 4x4 route covers the section from the 38th to the 40th kilometer and includes the final set of switchbacks as well as the rest of the descent to the valley floor. Other than the switchback section, the gradients are less steep along this section, mostly between 1 in 6 and 1 in 12. The mountain slopes are fairly soft here, and rain flowing down the slopes quickly erodes deep dongos on the low side of the road. Be on the lookout for these, especially if it's recently rained in the area. Once this final part of the descent has been completed, it's fairly easy going for the final section of the route, but speed needs to be kept low due to the hundreds of water diversion mounds that are found throughout this route. If you intend driving this route, we strongly recommend first watching the orientation and overview video as well as all the preceding videos in the correct sequence. Each video contains unique information pertaining to safety, technical, historical and tourism information. This section consists of a long and gradual descent into the west, which links the upper and lower sets of switchbacks on the northern descent. As altitude is lost, it becomes obvious how much drier this northern side of the mountain is, with many acacia thorn trees and aloes on both sides of the road. The primary function of a protected area like this one is to conserve biodiversity. Other functions, such as the need to ensure that visitors have access to the park and that adjoining communities and local economies derive benefits from the area, potentially conflict with and compromise this primary function. In order to meet these needs and to reduce the potential for conflict between the various stakeholders, the park has been divided into zones for different uses. Use zoning is the primary tool to ensure that visitors can have a wide range of quality experiences without compromising the integrity of the environment. The expectations and recreational objectives of people that visit the park may differ. Some people are visiting the park purely to see wildlife as well as the natural landscapes. Others wish to experience intangible attributes such as solitude, remoteness, wildness and serenity. Others come to visit or engage in a range of nature-based recreational activities or simply to socialize in a rest camp. Different people have different accommodation requirements, ranging from extreme roughing it up to luxury catered accommodation. There's often conflict between the requirements of different users and different activities. Appropriate use zoning serves to minimize conflicts between different users of a park by separating potentially conflicting activities. Driving this route is not just about game and bird sightings. The vegetation is complex and all of these plants can be identified along the route. These include speckworm, the needle bush, plumbago, Cape honeysuckle, the puzzle bush, Karoo boerbean, milkwood, river euphorbia, aloe and donkey food. Amongst the cycads, look out for the long-leaved or Zierberg cycad as well as the Eastern Cape dwarf cycad. Fynbos occupies 5.3% of South Africa with its complement of at least 8,578 species of flowering plants. It's recognized supporting one of the most diverse and distinctive floras in the world. All in all, 5,832 or 68% of the plant species are endemic. Many of the fynbos plant species are restricted to extremely small distribution ranges, a fact which has rendered them dangerously susceptible to extinction. Fynbos consists of evergreen heathlands and shrublands in which fine-leafed low shrubs and leafless tufted grass-like plants are typical. Proteas, ericas and restios are typical components of fynbos. Trees are rare and grasses comprise a relatively small part of the biomass. Fire is a very important component in fynbos. Most fynbos is highly flammable due to the common presence of flammable oils. Finely wooded fynbos plants are obligate seeders, which means that the whole plant dies after fire and can only reproduce through seed. This distinguishes fynbos from the other ecosystems where fire is common. Many plant species are dependent for pollination on small mammals or birds such as the Cape sugarbird. Both grassland and fynbos are fire dependent and fire adapted. Research has shown that isolated patches of fire-prone vegetation can lose up to 75% of their species when fires are prevented from spreading for long periods. Be sure to watch part 12 of the Bedrogfontein 4x4 route, which covers the final drive out.